Right, so to just go through and review some of the stuff that I've already said. So the first thing, ideally, you should be using electronic referencing at this stage. I will upload onto the group something called a how-to guide to Mendeley. Mendeley works incredibly well. Please, I do not want to see any direct quotes. There's nothing at this level that is so profound that you need to do direct quotes with page numbers. Stay away from direct quotes. You can then use Mendeley. You can also use Mendeley in your research. No one will ever know that you've used Mendeley. I oversee the honors research in Pietermaritzburg. I force my students to use Mendeley. I also force my second and third year students to use Mendeley. So do yourselves a favor and get to that point of using Mendeley. I will give you the how-to guide. Secondly, please make sure that you use peer-reviewed references. I will show you in a second how to do that. Part of your job in terms of getting this assignment done is to pay attention to this, a decent cover page, a decent introduction. Every one of these is associated with a rubric. You should be focusing on those elements in the rubric. So some sort of focused introduction and conclusion. For me, the ideal introduction will follow exactly what is here. You will have some opening statement, and then you will indicate what the actual problem is that you're addressing here, and we'll chat about that in a second. You will indicate to me give me some sort of roadmap that you're going to take me through in terms of how the assignment unfolds, writing style to the point, and then obviously the sentence is well constructed. And then tone and presentation for 3 marks. You need to write proper English. Please don't impress me with big words. I'm Afrikaans. I don't get impressed by big words. And then how you use your resources, also another 2 marks. And we'll talk about peer-reviewed, as I said. So nothing dramatic there, and also make sure that you have a conclusion. Right, and all of that will be part of that. Please don't miss those out. Please, I do not want to see appendices. If you are putting in appendices, calm down. This is not your master's or your PhD yet. And then it is naked insurance, and you can work through what naked insurance is. You can have a glance at this yourself. You need to read the case study very, very clearly, and you can work through all of that, very clear where the references are from. And then we talk about these elements, and we'll go through these elements in terms of the notes, but I'll take you through them fairly quickly. So when we look at the various options, we talk about conceptual fit. So conceptual fit essentially relates to how well the organization aligns itself internally with the realities of the external environment. So if you think of how we create strategies that capitalize on strengths and opportunities and counteract threats and weaknesses. So there are 2 options here. Thanks, Boya. There are 2 options here. And the first option would be organizations that base their strategies on an inside-out approach. Now, what an inside-out approach is would be your Google-type organization. Google has astonishing resources, has astonishing employees, has astonishing algorithms, has sorry, I've got a bit of bronchitis, has astonishing hardware and software. Sorry, hold on a sec. The outside-in perspective argues that what an organization does, it concerns itself with the realities of the competitive environment. So it talks about being beyond close to your customer, understanding exactly what your customers' needs, wants, and desires are, having a sense of what your competitors are offering, and then structuring your entire product offering around what your customers want, finding out those needs, impressing them in terms of how well you address those needs, and obviously impressing their needs better than your competitors do. So the outside in perspective works from the position that we focus heavily on what our customers want, and then we get the resources internally and we create the products and services as guided by our customers. The inside out perspective is based on the resource based view, and what it says is because we've got access to such phenomenal resources, we've got access to the best brands in the world, we have access to the best technologies, we have access to the best hardware and software, a Google type option, we impress our customers so much that often with the products we create, we actually create needs as well. So you can have a glance at which option is adopted. We'll go through the theory in a second. The answers, again, when we work through it, they'll be in slides 25 to 29 in my textbook, or if you are in the slides 25 to 29 in my set of slides. But if you go to the textbook very quickly, you'll see that they are from page 23 to 30. Quickly have a glance at your textbook. Please don't panic at this stage. Also, do yourselves a favor. Remember, there are 4 elements to this question. So you need to give us a brief introduction to each of those. You need to essentially indicate how inside out is different to outside in. And then also you have to, on the basis of the evidence in the case study, tell me whether it's an outside in or an inside out organization. I don't use a memo when I mark because I really don't care what Varsity College says the answer is. I look at your argument. If you say it's outside in, I will look for the evidence that you use to support that it's outside in. If you say it's inside out, you're going to struggle a little bit for evidence, but if you can find evidence, you can say inside out. The simple truth about most companies would be that they are a combination of the two, but the truth remains that each company has one or the other that is their main stance in terms of dealing with the external environment. If you go through that, if you're going to go for the outside in approach, you will find significant evidence to support it. At a third year level, it is about integrating the theory and the application. So the better you integrate the theory with the application, the better you do. And then what you need to do is, so part 1 is to look at a brief introduction, to contrast those two, and then to tell me whether it's inside out or outside in, supported by evidence from the case study. That integration is important. And then you will look at what else they potentially could do to improve that strategic link. Now remember, in terms of doing business in the environment, we talk about strategic fit and strategic flexibility. Strategic fit is a moment in time thing where what the organization has internally perfectly matches what the environment needs. Strategic flexibility is maintaining fit over time. Any questions about that specific first one? James, thanks for this, boy. I'll stick it on the notices now. Quickly, I can't see if you've got questions to type, so just tell me what your questions are. Anything else at this stage? Obviously, I'll keep referring back to these. I'll look now. App group. I'm not going to write a massive story. I'm just going to simply put it on there. Right, you should see the... Now just remember, I don't manage this WhatsApp group. Okay, nice, Mahalia. James, you okay? Michelle, you okay? Okay. Perfect. So no dramas there. Please note here, minimum of 2 additional academic sources. I'll have a glance at that now. There is the rubric. So again, please note that you should be able to mark your own assignment and you can check what we're looking for. 15 there, the application. Remember, I spoke about the integration between theory and application. So no dramas in terms of what is expected. Everyone okay with that? Right. The second one, so you'll see where the answers are. My apologies. I will upload this onto the under more resources. I'll put it under more documents. Yeah, under important documents. Okay. Are you happy for me to do it this way? This is how it's worked in the past. I maintain hell of a high pass rate, so it'll keep working. Right. So this one, yeah, this one is also about the layout that you have to consider. So this one is in terms of the slides. So we're looking at that again. You're looking at, I'll go through it and I would rather discuss it. Where the heck is it? Okay, there it is. So it's Learning Unit 3. So the slides, obviously you don't have it, but when you watch recordings, etc., it'll be slides 14 to 17. But more importantly, it'll be the textbook page 85 to 87. So the slides will be 14 to 17 and the textbook 85 to 87. Can somebody quickly, can everyone open the textbooks and have a glance at that for me? Right, those pages are right, hey, Michelle? Okay, just to go through it very quickly, you can see the purpose of a mission statement. It really indicates what the reason for an organization's existence is. It takes its lead from the vision. So we know the vision is the ambitious future an organization sees for itself. The mission statement takes the vision, unpacks it for us. And then we look at analyzing the mission statement. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this. Let me stop sharing this one and quickly share the bit about the mission statement. It will make it easier. Yeah, so no dramas there. You can see that, oh shucks, the purpose is built in there. Right, so, flippin', hold on. Who joined us? Luandile, how are you? Luandile, can you hear me, boyo? Right, so if we have a quick glance, so if you've got the assignment in front of you, just have a glance at this. So brief introduction, and then it's analyze the mission statement. And then part 2 is recommend changes, and then you have to write your own mission statement. So the questions that you need to ask are these, and I want you to highlight them in terms of what is needed. If you're going to lightly mark them in the textbook, I don't mind. So the first question is, why is the organization in business? So what you will do is you will have a table, and I'll draw the table for you in a second. You'll also talk about our economic goals. Remember, the one rule about a mission statement, you'll never mention profitability. It's in fact in bad taste, because your mission statement has to speak equally to every one of your stakeholders, but it's very difficult for profitability to talk to your employees, because the general rule of thumb is that the higher your profits, the less you pay your employees. For customers, the higher your profit, the higher the prices you would have to charge. So in business activity, these are non-negotiables. Every mission statement has to have these. The product or service. Now, remember, when you describe a product or service, Volkswagen doesn't sell cars. Volkswagen sells opportunities to explore the world. Primary market, Volkswagen is a global brand, and principal technology used. We know that Volkswagen is at the cutting edge of using AI and other information technologies. So your first question is, what is the organization? And you're looking at those elements. What are our economic goals is the second one, as per that. Shucks, hold on. Sorry, I'm working on two screens and not everything is open at the same time. The third question, you can mark that as, what is your operating philosophy? It really is, what is the organization's self-image? What is its view on quality? And you can look at that. The fourth one, what are our core competencies? And then what customers do we and can we serve? And then this is that stakeholder model view. Now, we know in terms of modern definitions of competitive advantage, we talk about creating stakeholder wealth. So those are the questions that you will ask. And in answering those questions, I'm going to quickly, I don't like using the whiteboard in this. I'm just going to open Paint, and I really can't do this with a mouse, so it's going to look like a dog's breakfast. For me to make my life easier and for you to do the analysis a lot easier, I would use a table. Let me just share this. It will be a bit messy in a second. I would simply just do a table like this. I'm drawing with the mouse, so give me a bit of a break. I would have several columns down. Oh, shucks. I would have that column. I would have that column. I would have that column. I hope that I've got the columns right. And I would name this I would call this question 1, and that would be a question from the mission statement. So what is our core service, or what is our purpose? And I would type that in there. I would then write, so So this would not questions. This would be questions. Sorry, not question one. Questions. My apologies. You will write that out. Then this would be the first question. I would type out the first question in full. What is our purpose? These would be the different criteria under that specific question. And remember, it has to do with our market, with our product and the technology. So this is market, product, and technology, right? And then I would look at this. I would look at the extract. This would be the extract from the mission statement itself, the sample mission statement, and I would type the extract in there. And then I would look at whether there is something there or not, whether it is represented or not. So I'll just say present, yes or no. So if it is there, I would click yes, 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 and I would then go analysis. Analysis. I would do it like that. So if we look at the assignment very quickly, you should be able to do that. Analyze, and that will give you that. And then maybe put another column onto that actually, and a recommendation. Maybe take that one out. It might be an idea just to take that one out. Have an analysis and put in a recommendation. That might be an easier one. So you put the question there, you put the criteria there, you put the extract there or the excerpt there, you do the analysis there, and you then make your recommendation. Everyone okay with that? You can watch the recording, you can take a picture of that really rubbishy picture. Okay, thanks, Mahalia. Thanks, Michelle. Right, so the analysis is very simple. If you go through the case study, you'll see what the mission statement is. Remember the last part of this. Let me open this again. The last part of this, where is that now? Share application screen. Right, and then you have to write your own mission statement. So please make sure that you tick box this when you finish your assignment. And then 2 additional academic sources. Do not use Indeed, do not use business balls, do not go straight into Google and do a search. You use peer-reviewed sources. There are the criteria. I copied this rubric straight into the rubric in VC Learn, and I use this for marking. Okay, straightforward, 30 marks, no dramas. Okay, my apologies, I see mistakes in spelling there. I don't put these together. Yeah, slightly more difficult concepts of shared value and inclusive business. You're looking at Learning Unit 2. You're looking at slides 15 to 19. And in the textbook, if Michelle, you can check for me, pages 62 to 64. Thanks, Sam. Right, just to go into my slides again. I'll share this in a second. I'll go through all of this stuff again. Yeah, shared value and inclusive business. All of you will remember the stuff around triple bottom line. Remember the people, planet, profit. We don't really just simply talk triple bottom line anymore. We now talk quadruple bottom line, people, planet, profit, as well as purpose. So we've added governance as a key issue. We live in this world where we have this crisis of ethics, where the world is dominated by corruption. So we've added the fourth P into it. So the thinking here is, because we've redefined what sustainable competitive advantage is, and remember the new definition of that is creating stakeholder wealth for all. So we look at all our stakeholders, not just our shareholders. So it's about creating stakeholder wealth. We need to look at a new way of doing business. So we have to look at every single stakeholder. So when we write our vision and we write our mission statement, we write a mission statement that talks equally to every single stakeholder. When we write our value statement, we talk to each of our stakeholders in that value statement as well. So the things we talk about in terms of shared value is that whatever the organization does to benefit its shareholders, it also benefits its customers, its employees, the communities it operates in. But also, in addition to that, remember, we now consider the natural environment be part of those key stakeholders. So each of those stakeholders benefit as much as the shareholders do. And it's a modern way of looking at business, because if we look at at least 70 of the top 100 wealthiest economies in the world, 70 of those are big businesses. So when we think of the top 100 wealthiest economies in the world, at least 70 of those are multinational enterprises. Inclusive businesses is where we start looking at a business's operations, at a company's operations, and we start looking at people traditionally excluded from what we do. So it's about bottom of the pyramid, and you'll learn about all of these concepts. It is about including people that traditionally might not have been part of our catchment area in terms of our products and services and where we wanted to reach in the past. And then if you look at the specifics that we would go through, and you can have a glance at that, I'll go through that when we actually do the lectures on that. You have got where the answers are, however, in the assignment. So let me just share that assignment again. A little bit difficult to flash between all of those. Hold on a second. Right, so that sorts that one out. So you start with the purpose of those two. It will be in the textbook, and then discuss those two. And then obviously you need to look at, again, by using examples, and remember, it's the integration of examples from the case study with the actual theory. You need to show that you understand the concepts of shared value and inclusive business well enough by supporting it with the relevant examples from the case study. And then again, a proposal on how they can improve that. Remember to tick box these exercises so that you don't leave anything out. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see if all of these, I don't even know if all of these are peer-reviewed articles. Okay, guys, and there is your rubric. Right, I'm going to stop the recording.